Hi guys, these are 5 products from China that you can buy on Alibaba and AliExpress, and you can build your business in Zimbabwe. So in this video, I'll try as much as possible to stay clear of items or products that I've not bought for myself or I do not have experience with in terms of knowing that other people have bought them from China as well. So number one, cameras and camera accessories. So this is quite a niche category if you are in Zimbabwe especially, because there's quite a defined set of people who just buy these products. So it's not necessarily a mass market product, it's more like a niche set of products. But it's very lucrative if you look at it from a point of view. So in most cases, what people will be looking for are medium to high quality products, but at the same time, they want something that's cheap. So they don't want something that's cheap and it compromises the quality. They want something that's cheap and it also keeps a certain level of quality to it. And I think on Alibaba and AliExpress, these products, especially in the camera world, are definitely there and they work very well. For example, if you buy a Canon lens, let's say a Yongnuo Canon lens. So this is not a standard lens, but it's something that can give you great quality, but it's also cheap. And most people are looking for these types of lenses. Then you buy it for like $50, add on transport and duty. It arrives here at around 80, somewhere there, 85, $80. The cheapest here would sell the lens for around 135. So you can cut it down and say 130, or just keep it at the same price and say 135, and you make a profit of $50. So in this case, I just exposed a trade secret. So in this case, these products offer you a high profit margin. So let's say you just buy 4, and in a month you just say I want to buy 4. You get $200 of profit from just those 4. However, because it's a niche category, I think you definitely have to do a bit of marketing, because the people in that kind of niche would obviously want something that's cheap, but at the same time they might not have the finances there and then, because for camera stuff, most people will be doing photography, videography, weddings, etc. So these are not things that happen or events that happen all the time. So obviously, some people might want to rent those lenses. So you might think of it as a business in terms of not necessarily buying the lenses or the cameras, but actually lending the lenses so that they rent at a certain price. And then you just make your business aligned towards that. However, it all depends with what you want. So these are obviously arguable points, but I would definitely feel like you stand a chance if you also look into that industry and look for innovative ways of making money. Number 2, electronics. So for me, I think the most profitable products that I've sold in Zimbabwe are actually thermal receipt printers. So it's these small printers that print a receipt, and you have an application and then they print a receipt, and you can give a customer those kinds of receipts. And these come in different qualities in China and different like strengths standards as well. You can basically buy them for around, let's say, 17, 16. Even the cheapest you can get them for 15. I'm talking of value when they come here. However, in China you can get them for like 10, 11, and then obviously with duty and those other stuff, it can reach up to 17, 18. And once it reaches $18, then you pay maybe other extra expenses in those events. And after those expenses, you'd find that the cost that it arrives at would maybe be around 20, 21, in some cases 23, depending on the quality of that thermal receipt printer. And then you can sell them here for even $40 or 30 or 35, just depending on your business strategy and what profit margin you want to set. So for me, I've bought these in different quantities, so I know definitely there's a market for these kinds of products, especially let's say you are in tech, you are in IT, and you develop your app, you develop your website or whatever, and you also incorporate those receipt printers. I think you definitely make real money from that kind of business. So in terms of electronics, obviously there's also other things like power banks. Maybe you can include hard drives, which are also tech stuff under that. Then in terms of tech stuff, you can also include phones or laptops, those kinds of things. Most of the companies that assemble phones would obviously be Asian countries. Some of the companies obviously are in Asia. So I think this offers you a bit of chance in terms of getting great quality and also getting it at a right price from China. Number three, we look at fashion and apparels. So in terms of fashion, I've never really sold fashion products. I do not sell fashion products, but I know people who do. I know people who sell a lot of clothes and they buy them from China. But most of the people who I've seen who sell clothes actually sell baby wear. So in terms of adult clothes, I'm not sure. But in terms of baby wear, I do know that there are a lot of people who are doing this and they're buying products from China and then they sell those products here in Zimbabwe. And it's quite a good avenue and it has quite a good sort of business logic to it. In terms of the exact finances, I do not necessarily know. I think this is something you would have to research, but I definitely think that if you go on apps like Alibaba, AliExpress, and you also search for certain products, yeah, like how much jeans are costing in China, how much suits are costing, jerseys, t-shirts, etc. I think this will also help you in guiding you with your decision in terms of these. So for fashion, I definitely feel like you have to be in the field to actually know exactly the kind of things that you have to do if you want to start your business. So if you are someone who's new and you just want to buy clothes from China and sell them in Zimbabwe, you obviously have to look at it from a point of view of Zimbabwean market as well as what they want. Then you also have to then make your order from China instead of just buying from China and hoping people will just buy them here in Zimbabwe. One reason for that is because there are different seasons. People buy different things in different seasons. Like back to school, people buying different things like shoes, etc. Then after school, maybe people will be buying different things as well. So you kind of have to look at it from that point. But I think most of the people look for baby wear because throughout the entire year, people will be looking for baby wear. It's not necessarily a seasonal kind of product like clothes, but it's something that people can just buy at any time of the year. But if you're buying and selling different things for adults or even for kids who are a bit grown, then definitely there are different seasons to these. And so you have to look at that kind of angle if you are trying to build your business around fashion and you're buying from China. Number four is stationery. One of the advantages of stationery, if not for all the products that I've mentioned here, but especially for stationery, is that I think it's very, very cheap. Like you can get it in bulk value, but at an extremely cheap price from China. So you can imagine that you can get like a box of items for even $2, and here in Zimbabwe you can sell them and even get up to $20 or even above that, depending on this market and whatever product you would have bought. One thing you also have to consider though is the industry here in Zimbabwe. So you also have to look at the industry here and compare with that, because we have other industries or other companies who are doing pretty much the same things. So you also have to look at that cost and say, okay, if I buy from here and I also resell and start my business on the side and maybe add on to that from with products from China, how much would it cost? You know, just comparing these two things. Because as far as we might say buying from China will help, the products here as well do have great quality for some of the products, and I think you also have to look at the industry here in terms of building a business if you want to start a business in Zimbabwe. Then number five, you also look at kitchenware and utensils that you generally use around the home, in the kitchen, etc. Obviously, kitchenware is quite a broad term because we are looking at loads of things, but you can look at it from a point of view of buying maybe one set of items, let's say one set of plates, one set of pots or something like that, and just look at how you can get them to Zimbabwe, how much price you can get them in for, and how much you can sell them for. So you might not even double your profit, but just in the sense of you knowing the true value of just buying those types of stuff and also selling them in Zimbabwe, I think you get a good feel of how the business would look like if you are actually doing it full time. So you can actually buy something from China that is completely new and no one in Zimbabwe actually knows about it, or at least is using that kind of product, and you can actually introduce it as more like an innovation if it's a tech stuff, or something that's just kind of new and fresh if it's in other industries. So these are products that I have experience with, or I have bought and sold, or I know people who have bought and sold these in Zimbabwe. So it's not necessarily a complete list. It's not like this is what can make you money. No. In terms of making new money, it depends on your vision, your passion, the market here in Zimbabwe as well, and the market you are trying to reach. So this is just a guide per se. However, you can buy and sell in Zimbabwe, just as I also have done, and just as many people are also doing around the country. So if you like this type of video, then make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for more.